Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Today, brothers and sisters, we continuing again with chapter 27. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, throughout the first ayat of this, or verses of this chapter, is discussing the criteria of a person who will be admitted to his paradise. Those people who are certain of the day of judgment, certain about the hereafter. And during their existence on earth, they are proving that certainty. How? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, what? They leave their work. They go and do the prayers. They sacrifice their time. Number two, they sacrifice their money. And they do the charity. They spend on charity. They spend on orphans. They spend on the needy. They spend all of this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ. All of this to prove your case. You want to go to Harvard. You have to prove your case to be admitted to Harvard. You have to have a good GPA, 3.9, 3.8, 4.0. You have to prove that you're really great on the SAT. You have to prove that you have extracurricular activities. You have to prove that you sacrificed. You had to prove that you did community service. You have all of these criteria. That is exactly the same thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see what you're doing to deserve that paradise. That's it. And from there, the only reason is you want to be admitted. You want to have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be. And remember, one important thing, if you are a believer, and if you are a person who will want to go to there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you feel the taste of this paradise here on earth. He will make you have a tranquility, peace. That doesn't mean your life will be easy. No, life can be hard. But you have a good patience. You know that one day everything will be relieved. Allah will relieve that issue. Allah will relieve that pain. Allah will relieve that disease. Allah will relieve that hardship. You know that. That's why you have a belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the people of the paradise, they already can live paradise here. With the tranquility, with the love of Allah, with the ability to understand the knowledge and the hikmah, the wisdom behind things. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in here it is, what? Hakim min ladunna. You bring it, the Quran is coming down from Hakim, wisdom. So the person who has the wisdom, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him the ability to understand what's behind the scenes. That's the guy who has the wisdom, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives this to His believers. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ. Those who don't believe in the hereafter. Anything. They can do anything. They don't believe there is accountability. Why should I care? Why should I care about being kind? Why should I care about giving the orphans? Why I'm not, so you have to, that point, there is nothing really you're afraid of. There is nothing really you're scared of. You're not scared of the torment. You're not scared of the punishment. You're not scared of anything. So you'll do whatever. A porn star does what she do. Expose herself, expose everything in public. She's not afraid of anything. The guy who kills, the guy who did, he's afraid of nothing. Yes, they might be going in jail or whatever, but he's not afraid. The guy who sell the alcohol, the guy who sell the drugs, the guy who sell all of this, he's not afraid of that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, those people, what's going to happen? They don't believe in the hereafter. Because if they believe in the hereafter, they believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold them accountable, they won't do any of those. Those people who torture the civilians, who bomb civilians day and night, and they chop their hands, they chop their legs, all of this. The people lose their eyes. So many things, horrible things happen everywhere. Rape, everything, name it. Those people were afraid of no. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even before this life end, will torture them. for their wrong actions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ لَهُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ. They will have the worst punishment. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ زَيَّنَّا لَهُمْ أَعْمَالَهُم. We make their actions seems good. Because the person who does something, he's being tricked to think like what he's doing is good. We say anything. A woman exposing herself, a man raping a woman, a guy stealing from, robbing a bank, a guy killing somebody. At that point, he's doing this action, he's being tricked that this is okay. Why he's being tricked? Because he doesn't have that shield. The shield is called what? It's called that shield which is called yaqeen, certainty, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold him accountable. That shield of taqwa, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps saying, build that taqwa. He said the prayers, the charity, all of these things, the fasting, all of these things create what? Pilgrimage. All this creates something called taqwa. Taqwa means what? Shield. Shield prevents you from falling into the sins. And that's what Allah. So these people, they don't have that shield. So it's easily tempted, easily tricked to do whatever they're doing. All these things. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, Zayanna, they're being tricked that what they're doing is okay, is good. فَهُمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. Indeed, they are blind. They keep doing, what the blind person does. If he doesn't have, he keep hitting people, hitting others, doing, accidents here, an accident there, an accident here. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, they are misguided. So what's going to happen, Ya Allah, with all of this? And right now we are in the peak of misguidance. As we live, we see governments justify killings. We see individuals justify defrauding others. We see women justifying being employed in pornography, being employed in all kind of stuff. We see men justifying raping others or taking advantage of minors or doing all kind of stuff. We see all kind of sins from the time of Adam until now combined in our times right now. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ لَهُمْ سُوءُ الْعَذَابِ وَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ هُمُ الْأَخْسَرُونَ. Those people will receive the worst punishment. Where, Ya Allah? Number one here. Number one punishment. You are doing sin and becoming sinful. That's itself a punishment. Being away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in itself punishment. Being misguided, losing the way. How much is the frustration when sometimes you have an address and you're trying to reach that address and you can't reach that address because you're misguided, you don't know the way, and you keep circling. It's very frustrating. That's what's happening to these people who are away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These people who don't comprehend the rulings. They don't comprehend why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have created everything. And who is the master of the day of judgment. And who is the master of this day is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those people who are not comprehending this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, they will be tortured. And enough, they have no peace. They have no tranquility. And you see, anybody who does something, he will eventually end up in a very bad end result. Name it. We see a lot of, these people, for example, they did, adult movies or whatever, they're committing suicide. We see people who did like Epstein or whatever, they commit suicide. Who did rape or whatever, they commit suicide. We see people who are doing, they're in jail. We see so many things happening. People who are defrauding lawyers or whatever, they're in jail. So many things. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control at all times. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ لَهُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ, the worst, here in this life and in the hereafter. وَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ هُمُ الْأَخْسَرُونَ. Indeed, in the hereafter, there are the losers. There's no winning there, because they will be held accountable of what they have done. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ending that by وَإِنَّكَ لَتُلَقَّى الْقُرْآنَ مِنْ لَدُنَّ حَكِيمٍ عَلِيمٍ. O Muhammad, you're receiving the Quran from who? لَدُنَّ, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the most wise. Hakim. Why Allah Hakim? Because what Allah does on earth, there is a wisdom behind everything He does. There is a wisdom behind every action. There is a wisdom behind everything Allah does. This is the hikmah. He have created it on earth. And then Alim, the wisdom and the ilm. The Quran itself has knowledge which can basically experience the past, the present, and the future. Everything combined with the wisdom, which in all of this is coming from Allah. Allah have given this into the Quran because He is the wise and the knowledgeable. He gave this hikmah, this wisdom, this knowledge to inside this the word of the Quran. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave that knowledge, whoever can extract that knowledge, to those people who will be what? Who will be obedient. Obedient. Imagine you are in a classroom and you want to get the knowledge of the professor, and you want that professor to give you everything he has. What you have to do? Yes, you have to listen. You have to do what he says. You have to study hard. You have to show him that you care about the material he is given to you. You have to show him that you care. Then he'll give you more of his wisdom and knowledge. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه